with Al Lockard from the Indiana County Department of Veterans Affairs is brought to you today by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And he's a little bit injured himself, but still on the job. Al Lockard, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Wonderful, and it's good to have you with us here today.
Glad to be here.
We had this report today, and I thought you'd be kind of interested in it, about how different states are doing for military retirees. And in terms of, how do they serve their military retirees? What sorts of things are they learning about them? Unfortunately, Pennsylvania only 37th and 50th in the nation in job placement for vets. Obviously, the state has some things to do. Some work is left to be done for our veterans across the Commonwealth, isn't there?
Well, when it comes to serving our vets, I would agree completely with that. As far as the statistics and the numbers, I'm not sure what it is that they're breaking down, but just rest assured that, there's a lot of things out of this office here that we are capable of assisting veterans with. And, that's our primary goal. The county and each county in the state of Pennsylvania make sure that there is a representative set aside to assist veterans and their widows and spouses with things that they might need.
So as we have gone through these last 8 or 9 weeks and the whole world has changed around us, let's talk about operations for you within your office and some of the things that you've been able to do or not able to do. How are the services measuring up now?
Well, as most people, we're dealing with some different times here. So in dealing with the different times, we've had to, basically abide by the rules here set within the courthouse. We don't, at this point in time, have people in the office, just like we don't have individuals in the courthouse. However, it looks like that is beginning to lax a little bit, and they're beginning to open some things up for some of the civil services here within the courthouse themselves. So we see it down the road that it could quite possibly change for us, but right now we have nothing that says that we're open to our veterans for them to be able to come into the office. So what we have done and what we have continued to do is we've kept our phones open, we have email available, fax, and what have you, but we are continuing to process cases as the individuals call in here. We do all the documentation, we send it to them, we have them sign it, they send it back to us, and then we process it the normal way that we would obviously without the veteran sitting here in the office.
Now, one of the things I think a lot of people don't realize is that not every county has a Department of Veterans Affairs. There are counties that just don't have the resources for it or that don't place the priority on it as Indiana County does. It's a tremendous advantage for our veterans, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is. I mean, not only from, just the processing of claims and being able to make sure that, the individuals get their health care needs provided. You look at the clinic that's located over by Ollie's, we are one of few counties that actually has a VA clinic in its county border. Mm-hmm. So we have to thank the people of the county, including the commissioners and our representatives, for the tremendous support that they have for the veteran community here in the county.
Remember when that VA clinic opened, what a great thing it was, and how many positive responses we had to the fact that you didn't have to travel to Butler or to Altoona to get your VA care, and that continues to be the case today. It takes a lot of effort on behalf of the county and the people within it to document the need and to show that so many people rely upon services like that clinic, doesn't it?
It does, Todd, and I'll tell you that, one of the things, if I can get the word out to our veteran community, and that is, I hear this a lot. I talk to veterans and I say, well, are you using the clinic? That's for somebody that's, that's been hurt, or that's for somebody that's in worse shape than I. if we don't use that clinic, we could possibly lose that clinic because it is a numbers-based, as most things are driven by. So what I would say to every veteran out there, go to the clinic and at least get your annual checkups and things of this nature there. Not everybody does, actually. Not everybody can go to that clinic. There are certain parameters in which you have to meet in order to be able to use the clinic, but most individuals, if they apply, they're going to be able to at least get their annual checkups.
Yeah, one of the things that I recall from a family member who used the clinic over here was he didn't really realize how many different services the clinic can offer. Things such as some of the monthly supplies that he would need for problems that had developed later in his life. He just didn't realize that because the clinic is there, it provides him with those where he was buying them before. And those sorts of things, every veteran, every person needs every advantage they can get. And so to not use the service is to really do a disservice to those who really need it.
Yeah, Todd, that's exactly right. I mean, I'm a veteran myself, and I use that clinic. I use it on a monthly, quarterly basis, and I receive some of my prescriptions from there. That they have grown the facility over there so that there is now podiatry that comes in once a week. They've got people that come in and work with the sleep clinics, to do the sleep apnea machines and so forth. They have telepsych now, so guys aren't having to drive to Pittsburgh to go down and sit and talk to a psychiatrist. They can actually do it one-on-one in a confidential area. They do it, via Zoom or whatever the platform might be, but they're able to do that right here in Indiana County, not Altoona, not Butler, not Pittsburgh. You can do it right here in Indiana.
Yeah, it's just tremendous. And, of course, they're following all of the COVID-19 rules and regulations and making sure that everything is safe there and you're in a sterile atmosphere as much as is possible. And so that's one of the great services that you get to see on a day-by-day basis in your office. But you help, your office does, with a number of other different veterans' concerns, doesn't it?
It does. And let me just say, I really want to give a shout-out to, our community, the people that put the flags on the graves. We're talking Memorial Day, which is on Monday. There's been a lot of rumor going around. I just want to kind of squash that right now. There will be flags on our graves of veterans for this Memorial Day. We made certain of that. There was some issues with distribution of flags. Some of the flag manufacturers did have problems getting them out, but rest assured, we received our order of over 17,000 flags just 2 weeks ago. Every flag is out of the building. We have none left here. And the markers and the flags will be put out by area Boy Scouts, the VFW, the American Legion, all of these guys, all these ladies stepping up to make sure that our veterans are represented on Memorial Day.
Talking with Al Lockard, Indiana County Department of Veterans Affairs. Final moments of our conversation for our Indiana County Veterans Providers groups. And I know, Al, that you and all of us share Memorial Day wishes for the families, the survivors of those who have given their lives for our nation, and those who have stood there, as our friend J.D. Varner says, has stood there in the defense of freedom.
There you go.
And that's a very, very special person who does that. And so for a moment, if you could reflect on that and on what Memorial Day means to you.
Well, I think as a veteran, it's a day that I take to reflect on those whom I've served with. Over a 24-year career in the military, I had an opportunity to be with and be around some amazing men and women, soldiers, that at a moment's call would put on that uniform and charge forward, not backward. And so for me, it's a day of reflection. My grandfather, a World War II veteran, I like the opportunity to when I can't do it this year, but I visit graveside and make sure that I get a chance to talk to him and thank him for his service. So it is a day that I like to reflect on and just think about those that I've had the opportunity to serve with.
Al Lockard, thanks so much for spending some time with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Todd.
Have a great day.
You too.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160 and 101.1 FM. 101.